What are you talking, Diksha?
My math homework is to measure the area of my room. So, I am going to measure the length and breadth of this room.
With this ruler? It will take you ages to measure the room with that.
Huh? I thought rulers are used to measure length.
Yes, that's right. But you need to choose the right instrument for the job. Otherwise, you take a long time doing this and your measurement might not be correct.
I don't make calculation mistakes. Never.
No, Diksha, you don't. But since you have to take so many readings by shifting the scale and then add them all, there is a big chance of making an error.
Oh yes, you are right. So what do I use?
Well, you should use this type of measuring tape. It's longer, so you can measure the length of the room in one go and your measurements will be accurate.
Homework done. The measuring tape made it so simple and fast. Thanks, Pranay.
You're welcome. It is important to select the right instrument to measure a specific physical quantity.
So you use a ruler to measure the small lengths and objects. Use a tape measure to measure distance in a room or longer distances. What about the distance between two cities? How would we measure that?
Good question. Well, the tape and the ruler measure is out of the question.
So then how do we calculate these distances?
Well, we will use a map and find the latitude and the longitude of the two cities to find the distance between them.
How so?
Well, the main post office of the city is used as a reference point. So, to measure the distance between Agra and Mumbai, we need to find the longitude and the latitude of each city's main post office and find the difference between them.
I see. And now I'm wondering how people used to measure distances in ancient times when there were no rulers, tapes or maps.
Well, in ancient times, people used measures like a span, a foot, or a cubit to measure length. A cubit is the distance between your elbow and fingertips.
Oh, I have seen flower vendors measuring the length of garlands using their elbow.
Keen observation, my friend. People also use bases or number of steps taken by a person to measure distance between places.
But hey, your legs are longer than mine. That means what is 5 steps away for you might be 7 steps away from me. That's not fair.
That's a good point. Back in time, people also realized the need of having standard units of measurement. So now we use foot scales, where 1 foot is 12 inches or 30.48 centimeters. That means whether I measure or you do, our readings will always be the same.
So what do we use now? My ruler shows centimeters and inches both.
Yes, Diksha, there are two systems of measurement widely used in the world, the metric system and the imperial system. Here in India, we use the metric system of measurement. So, meters, liters and grams are all part of metric system of measurement. So we use centimeters and meters to measure length rather than inches and feet.
And where is the imperial system used?
Well, it is widely used in the US. There, inches and feet are used to measure length, gallons to measure capacity, and pounds to measure weight.
So the metric and imperial system use different units? Then how are we able to make accurate measurements?
Well, that's because the units of both the systems are standardized units. Also, we can convert units of one system to another. For example, 1 inch equals to 2.54 centimeters.
So as long as we use the same units, we will get accurate measurements.
That's right. It is also important to use the right measuring instruments, as we saw with your tape and ruler. Now let's take a look at some of the measuring instruments.
Rita and Rahul are trying to get some books from the top rack of the bookshelf.
Rahul, I need that red book. I can see it from here, but can't reach it.
I can help you. Since I am taller than you, I can easily get it. Here's your book.
Oh, Rahul, you're not that tall. I could have just jumped up a little and got hold of the book.
Is it? Okay, then let's measure our heights.
Rahul gets a marker and a scale. He asks Rita to stand barefooted and straight against the wall. He then makes a mark in line with the top of her head with the help of the scale. He does the same for himself with his sister's help.
Okay, Rita. Tell me, how will you measure the height now?
Why? I will use the span of my hand to measure. See, I'm 9 spans tall.
Show me your hand, Rita. Do you see that the span of my hand is bigger than yours? So if I use it to measure your height, then it would be much less than 9 spans. This is the reason why there are standard units of measurement. I can use the span of the hand to compare lengths, but not to measure length accurately.
In order to make measurements of any physical quantity such as length, area, mass or weight, temperature and volume, we need standard measures called units. The units we generally use in India are known as the metric units. The table shows some physical quantities and their units commonly used in the world. You might have visited a grocery store, right? So, how does a shopkeeper measure, say, a kilo of rice or sugar? With the help of a weighing scale, isn't it? Thus, we use standard instruments to measure every quantity. For example, length is usually measured with instruments such as a ruler or a measuring tape. So how do we measure the heights of Rahul and Rita? Yes, with a measuring tape. There you go. Look, Rita is 120 centimeters tall and Rahul is 140 centimeters tall. So, Rahul is taller than Rita. Now, is it possible to measure the height in kilometers? Yes, it is. But we generally use kilometers to measure large distances. For smaller distances, we use meters, and for even smaller lengths, we use the units centimeters and milliliters. As mentioned earlier, mass or weights are measured using weighing scales. Time is also a physical quantity. To measure time, we use clocks. The unit of time is seconds, minutes, and hours. Longer units can be a month and even a year. Other physical quantities like temperature and volume can be measured using a thermometer and a measuring jar respectively.
Rita, now do you know why using the span of the hand is not a correct method of measuring length?
Correct. That is why we come across so many measuring instruments in our everyday life to measure various physical quantities.
And I was going to measure a room with a ruler.
Come on, let's play a game to see whether you have actually understood it all or not. I'll show you a measuring instrument and you have to tell me what it's used to measure.
Sounds good.
Ruler.
That's easy. We use it to measure length.
Alright. And what would be the units of measurement?
The units would be millimeter, centimeters, and inches.
Good job. How about a stopwatch?
Stopwatch or any watch would be used to measure time. Time is measured in seconds, minutes, and hours.
Way to go, Deeksha. Alright. How about a carpenter's tape?
Length again. I am going to say centimeter, meters, and inches.
Bang on. Okay, let's see if we can up the game. Kitchen measuring cup.
Ma uses it to measure liquids like milk and water in liters and milliliters.
But that's brilliant. That means liter is a measure of volume. Now what about a bathroom scale?
Oh, that's used to measure weight.
That's great. Now do you know that in everyday language we often use mass and weight as the same thing. But do you know that scientifically there is a difference?
Really? How so?
Mass refers to the amount of matter in an object, whereas weight is the force of gravity acting on that object.
Interesting.
Okay, let's try another one. How about a voltmeter?
That's a tough one. Is that also an instrument of measurement?
Of course. A voltmeter measures electric potential and the unit is volts. I got one. Speedometer.
Yeah, good one. Speedometers are fitted in cars so that you know how fast the car is moving. It measures speed in kilometers per hour. Okay, back to the game. How about thermometer?
Ah yes. We use it to measure body temperature. The unit would be degrees Celsius.
Okay, let's try a fun instrument. What about speed radar?
Oh, I have seen those in movies. They measure speed of vehicles. Unit will be the unit of speed, kilometers per hour.
Well done. That's right. The police use it to find out how fast the vehicles are going on road.
I am a crime fiction buff. I know these things.
I can see that. Now tell me what you learned today.
A lot of things. Many daily activities have a need to measure some physical quantity. The right instruments have to be used in order to make these measurements accurately. The measurement must be made in appropriate units that the instruments are capable of measuring.
Nicely done. Now let's see if there's a crime show on television.